you're a hypocrite then, because trees breathe and so do plants. Do you
Okay.
think about their
They're
feelings
not they're
before you
not
eat lettuce?
Yeah, so plants aren't sentient. They don't feel pain, they're not aware, they're not conscious, they don't have a
How do you
subjective
know that?
experience.
How do you know that? How
Science.
do you know that?
We have
No,
science.
scientists still can't even prove it.
Science has proven they don't have pain receptors, they don't have a central nervous system, so we know they're not sentient. And
And how
by
come when I talk to my plants when I'm growing them, they grow like really fast and then they grow like really like perfect?
Yeah, we have plenty and plenty of studies in science. We know that plants are not sentient. But by the way, let's say tomorrow we found out they were sentient. This is actually an argument in favor of veganism because the leading cause of plant death are the animals eating them who then get killed and fed to you. So the best way to reduce plant death is to go vegan. So whether they're sentient or not is actually a pro-vegan argument. Make sense?
Not every animal eats plants, brother. Like you try telling that to a lion.
I wouldn't tell a lion to go vegan. They're an obligate carnivore. They have
You
to
know what
eat
I'm saying?
animals.
That's what I'm saying. Because so how can you say that? That's only some animals. So us species, humans, were I feel like meant to eat meat. We had to have been.
But
And fish. And fish.
humans are omnivores, which means we can eat plants and meat. A lion is an obligate carnivore, which means they have to eat meat, and they're in a survival situation, right? So they need to do what they need to do to survive. We're not in a survival situation. We're not obligate carnivores. We can live long and healthy and get all our nutrition from plants. So it's not essential. It's not necessary to eat animals. And I feel like if we have the choice to be kind and compassionate, that's the right thing to do, right? I feel like
I
that
mean,
aligns a lot more with Christianity. I mean, Jesus preached love, compassion, unity, empathy. We're all one. Like that was Yeshua's message. And if we have the option to not pay for death and violence today, I feel like this aligns with literally what Jesus would do today as well, as opposed to paying for unnecessary violence just because you can, right?
but there's a story in the Bible that said that Jesus fed the mass with fish.
Yeah, the feeding of the 5,000 was in a deserted area and there were people who were starving. So he multiplied the fish and the bread to feed people. The
He
eating.
brought somebody back from the dead. He walked on water. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if Jesus wanted to spawn some lettuce, he could have. All
Probably.
right.
But it's also worthy
Okay.
questioning. It's also worthy questioning why did he not consume any animals in the whole Bible until after his resurrection? He supposedly ate fish to show one of his followers he was in the flesh. But in Jesus' entire life in the Bible, there's not a single verse of him ever consuming an animal's body. Yes, he fed people fish. Yes, he took part in Passover meals where lamb was part of the tradition, but there's no direct mention of Jesus ever consuming an animal in the Bible. And I think that's very, very relevant, don't you?
I mean, you do got a point there, but at the same time, I just to each its own. If you don't want to choose to eat beef because you feel bad for a cow or a calf or whatever, that's you, brother. But
Outcome. So it is good for you. It's not just good for the planet, it's good for the animals. But going back to what I was going to say, right? If you want to quickly touch on the Bible, why do you think in Genesis 1:29 the Garden of Eden was vegan? Like why did God make the ideal reality with Adam and Eve? Why was it plant-based? Maybe you didn't know that, but then the question would be is
no, I knew
maybe
that. I knew that.
go ahead.
No, I knew that. Yeah, but I never thought of it like that, just being just plants, because I'm assuming when God created Adam and Eve and then everything else in the Garden of Eden, I'm pretty sure He had fish and stuff there too. Because I mean, I just
So
can't see it just being all plants.
I mean, but that's exactly what it was. So it says, I give you every seed bearing herb for you, which shall be for me. It was after the great flood when it wiped out all the habitation. And obviously, after the sin had happened, that was when God then said, I note to Noah and his sons in Genesis 9:3, everything that's moving shall be meat for you. But what's interesting is in Genesis 9:4, straight after that, it says, but don't eat meat that has life blood in it. And blood is referred to as life in the Bible. So it's specifically even saying when Noah and his sons were given instructions to eat animals, it's saying don't eat animals that still have their lifeblood in them. And also you should look into Isaiah 11:6. It shows you that when this unity period happens, where there's a peace happening, the wolf will lie with the sheep and stuff like that. It's this period of all of us coming together where again we're in a harmony state where we're consuming just plants and trees. So It's like at the start in God's ideal reality, it's vegetarian in the Bible. Sorry, it's plant-based in the Bible. And then in the end, in Revelation, sorry, in Isaiah, we see that again, in the end, it's vegetarian again. So I think those are two signs in the Bible that God's ideal reality doesn't consist of consuming animals and paying for their death unnecessarily. Also, Jesus preached about compassion to animals as well. He says, if your sheep falls into the Sabbath, do not help pick it out. He said, are two sparrows not sold for a penny, yet not one is forgotten by your Father. So there's many, many quotes in the Bible of having compassion and love towards animals.
I really like. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. You do know a lot about the Bible, and that is very good to what you're debating on. But I mean,
would you be open to watching a 3-minute video? It's not my video. I think it will really surprise you to see it. Do you have another device in front of you? It is literally 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. That could make somebody reconsider. 100%. Kind of makes me feel like a shit at the end of the day. You know, as someone that, like I said, eats meat. It does make you feel. It makes you feel bad, and it makes you do second think of like where your burger is coming from before you actually bite it. And actually, it's crazy too. I've said this to the chat before, and like I say miscellaneous stuff sometimes, and I said, wouldn't it be crazy if, like, kind of what you said, if it was actually a sin to eat animals, and every time you bit into whatever you were eating, like if you bit into a burger of beef, you would hear the cow in your head, or you would hear whatever animal that you were like, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I had brought that up is because I had a bad dream like that one time.
Wow.
Again, man, that is a very that's I mean, that's definitely a good video to share to somebody that you're trying to like convert to being vegan, because I really think it'll work.
Yeah, it's not even about converting or feeling really bad. It's about just seeing what you're paying for and then deciding, like, is this something I'm comfortable doing, or is this something that doesn't align with me? Would you be open to like maybe having plant-based meat alternatives and stuff like that? Like when you go shopping, just trying out some vegan stuff.
I honestly think I would say that I'm really close there, because I don't really eat as much steak anymore, or beef. I eat more chicken than anything. And I know that's still bad, but I eat a lot of spinach and kale, like a lot. And I eat a lot of greens, like I eat a lot of vegetables, believe it or not. And so I mean, I'm like halfway there. I could, if I want to, just stop eating chicken and just go plant-based protein, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I and a lot of people find me crazy because I'll eat my spinach on live and they'll be like, you don't put anything in there? Like it'll just be just vegetables at points when I want to eat a light meal.
Yeah. Just remember, by the way, vegans don't just eat vegetables like rice, bread, beans, pasta, kidney beans, chickpeas, oats, lentils, seitan, soya protein, corn. These are just things off the top of my head. Those are all vegan. So we have tons and tons of foods. It's not like you're just eating salads and lettuce and cucumbers and shit like that. You know, so there's a lot in there, man. But no, it's honestly been really nice talking to you. My question would be what advice would you give to people who haven't seen the video? What would you say to them?
To definitely, like you said, watch this video for the awareness to see where your food is actually coming from and how it's being brought to the table. Like you said, I mean, and those animals that were in the video at one point had feelings, and it does, you know, it makes you second think everything. It does. And if you're one of those, you know, arrogant, like very stubborn, oh, I don't, you know, this and that, then obviously they'll probably look past it. But if you have a heart to what you're saying, like I have this little guy in the room with me right now, and I wouldn't put him in that. I wouldn't put him in that warehouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So along with those other animals, like they have the same conscience as him. So why not give them a chance?
Absolutely, man. And that's what I recognize as well. Is that a female or a male?
That's a male.
Yeah, I have a girl dog, and she's literally like my child. And when I look into her eyes and I see her personality and her preferences and how like she's literally like my child, I recognize that other animals like pigs and cows, they're literally the same. They just look different. It's just an appearance difference. And then the question becomes should we treat an animal that differently just because they don't look as cute? But you know, maybe it's
Right.
something to think about. But thank you so much for being honest and open, man. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it,
man.
man.
At first I was bantering, but hey, it's all love, brother, man.
It's
It's
all
nice
love,
meeting
bro.
you.
You too as well, man. Have a good night. Take
Take
care.
care.